Greetings, everyone. I am F. Keith Slaughter, Senior Servant of the Beloved Community Church of Atlanta. Our ministry began 5 years ago with a few dedicated souls who were dedicated to serving our people and worshiping our God. We are a small church. However, since we began, we have slowly grown from a mere idea into a thriving, busy, and dynamic presence in the Pittsburgh community of Atlanta, Georgia. The coronavirus pandemic indelibly altered the work of our ministry. The food and resources gap between the poor and others has widened right before our eyes. As the world around us changed, we recognized the need to expand our already established food pantry to include a food sharing component for children and adults in our community. We now serve hot meals, sandwiches, snacks, and beverages 3 days a week and provide emergency food pantry access throughout the week. The times required that we expand our capacity to serve, but we had inadequate facilities needed to do the work. To that end, we recently acquired a historic Pittsburgh landmark formerly known as Little Zion Baptist Church. Our plan is to transition our food pantry and resource brokerage center, including a new day shelter component, into the Little Zion Annex of the Beloved Community Church. We need room to grow, and I need your help to make it happen. The food pantry will give community members and their families access to nutritious food in a clean and healthy environment. The Resource Brokerage Center will connect persons to information and benefits available to them, while the day shelter will create space for showers and personal care, cell phone recharging stations, and other help for our unsheltered sisters and brothers. So here's the ask. I'm asking you to be mindful and prayerful around your possible role in helping us to take care of some good people who need to feel the experience of human love, care, and compassion in the midst of their struggle. After considering the possibilities, I ask that you would share your best gift with us to help us renovate the building, put on a new roof, replace the damaged flooring, and rebuild the handicap ramp to make it a bright, healthy, secure space for healing and restoration to occur. I believe that this is good ground. Won't you help us by investing in making Dr. King's vision of the beloved community a blessed reality? You can help us by cash apping us at $the beloved community. You may also go to my website, drfkeithslaughter.org, and make a PayPal donation. But however you give, make sure you give to this good and worthy cause.
Y'all know what it is.
I can't sit at the seat of the scornful. Run away, run away, run away. Those wolves in sheep clothing.
Come on.
Run away. Take back what you stole from me. Compensate. They keep lying, man, and I can't relate. Run away, run away, run away.
Mr. Slaughter D call me trap pastor. I talk slow, but you know I rap faster.
That right.
Hard rhymes, I'm as serious as cancer. Recognize you ain't a slave, you a master. Came here on the bottom of the boat.
That right.
Can't flow, so I had to backstroke. Coming up on the verses that I wrote. Every day I slang hope, not dough. Black excellence, down with the team. Malcolm X's nightmare, Martin Luther's dream. Fight the power, can you feel what I mean? Like Rakim said, I'm a microphone pain. Came south on a special invitation. Say a word on the current situation. No delay, no more hesitation. All you fist up, take your reparations.
I know what it is.
I can't sit and see the scornful. Run away, run away, run away. Those wolves are sheep clothing. Come on, run away.
Scott LaRock
Take back
remix.
what you stole from me. Conversate. They keep lying, man, and I can't relate. Run away, run away, run away.
Yeah, so you think you can run away from reality? You think you can run away from the problems? You think you can find yourself someplace else to go where there's no God?
Man,
Hey man,
man.
wherever you go, God is already there waiting on you.
Sure enough, man.
So stop running.
For real though.
And if you gotta run, tie your shoes. Sucker.
Big hit. What up, 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 what up? What up? You bout it? Yeah, I'm bout it, bout it. You with it? Yeah, I'm with it, with it. You bout it? Man, I'm bout it, bout it. What's good? Welcome to another episode of the dopest show you never heard of. It's The Situation with Dr.FKeith Slaughter, an intentionally Afrocentric live streaming infotainment variety talk experience. I'm doing like Jimmy Walker. Y'all know, you see that commercial with Jimmy Walker talking to the old people? It's an experience. Hey man, it's good to see y'all today. Good to be seen. Today is January the 26th. The year is 2022, the double deuce. We're in the middle of a pandemic that is now being described as endemic, but you are still alive. And so we thank the Creator for that. Straight up. What's good, Megalee? What the deal is, man in the box?
Huh?
Oh, man. Sometimes the man in the box's responses make me think that he's developmentally disabled, but you know, because we don't say retarded, you know, we don't say that's inappropriate. Yeah, it takes a sick person for me to get their sense of humor. I mean, because I ain't in good shape, man. But I'm glad to be here. Glad you here. So I'm sitting up here, man, bugging out, reading Souls of White Folk, W.E.B. Du Bois. Yeah, I know the Souls of Black Folk is what he's most well known for writing, but there's an essay that he wrote called The Souls of White Folk. And it's just interesting for a black man who's writing in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, who's writing during that time period, right? And who is a black man of northern extraction and of light complexion, actually doing a sociological examination of the pathology expressed by whites. I find it just extraordinary for him to have been able to do that at that time. And because it's extraordinary to see black people write like that even presently, particularly in the academy. So Du Bois writes, on the pale, white faces which the great billows whirled upward to my tower, I see again and again, often and still more often, a writing of human hatred, a deep and passionate hatred, vast by the very vagueness of its expressions. Down through the green waters on the bottom of the world where men move to and fro, I have seen a man, an educated gentleman, grow livid with anger because a little silent black woman was sitting by herself in a Pullman car. He was a white man. I have seen a great grown man curse a little child who had wandered into the wrong waiting room searching for his mother. Here, you damned black. He was white. In Central Park, I've seen the upper lip of a quiet, peaceful man curl back in a tigerish snarl of rage because black folk rode by in a motor car. He was a white man. We have seen, you and I, city after city drunk and furious with ungovernable lust of blood, mad with murder, destroying, killing, and cursing, torturing human victims because somebody accused of a crime happened to be of the same color as the mob's innocent victims, and because that color was not white. We have seen, merciful God, in these wild days and in the name of civilization, justice, and motherhood, what have we not seen right here in America of orgy, cruelty, barbarism, and murder done to men and women of Negro descent? Just a piece from the souls of white folks, from the mind of one of the most brilliant scholars that we know of, W.E.B. Du Bois. Complex, conflicted, died an expatriate in Ghana. These are his words, looking inside the mind and the behavior of those who have made a life of oppressing us. And that needs to be said, because that's the situation. And you want to know what the deal is. Hey, here we go. You want to know, you want to know. I ain't read nothing today, man. I don't know nothing. I ain't do my homework today. I'm sorry. Hey man, I ain't do my homework today, y'all. So, I did some of it. I just didn't get a chance to do it all because I was doing some more work in another space. And, sometimes you don't get your work done. So that's what happened to me. But we see what it sounds like. We see what it looked like. Somebody at my door. We don't have to get a doorbell. In world news on the African continent, Felix Onua of Reuters gets the byline for this story. Nigeria's government plans to amend its newly signed oil law to ask Parliament for an 18-month extension to keep its long-standing regime of subsidizing imported petrol, this according to its junior oil minister. The law signed by President Muhammadu Buhari last August contains a provision for elimination of fuel subsidies within 6 months. However, labor unions have rejected the government's planned hike in pump prices, threatening nationwide protests and urging authorities to speed up work on upgrading the country's 4 refineries, which have been poorly maintained for decades. So, you make laws, you repeal laws if you got the power to do that. And that's what they did in Nigeria. Man, their main problem is BP, British Petroleum. That's what their main problem is, because that's who's sucking all of the resources out and leaving them the scraps to live off of in their own country. And that's the real problem, which makes it appear that blacks don't govern well in that space, is because whites are actually doing the governing. Speaking of whites doing the governing, in South Africa, Reuters is reporting that South African investigators have flagged COVID-19 contracts worth around 2.1 billion rand, or $137 million, for possible corruption and fraud. President Cyril Ramaphosa authorized the investigation into the government's coronavirus spending in 2020 following some scandals that caused public outrage. They go into court about $137 million being stolen. Think about the billions that are being pilfered from the pockets of the taxpayers by big pharma in this country. I don't be caring about these stories, because when you want to talk to me, about corruption, you need to start talking about the corruption that is prevalent in this country first, I think. Anyway, that's just me thinking. The Libyan prime minister, according to Abdul Qadir Assad, who is writing for the Libyan Observer, the Libyan prime minister, Abdul Hamid Dabiba, has said that Libya supports the government of Chad and its efforts in fighting mercenaries and terrorism. The Libyan prime minister added in statements to reporters after he had arrived in Chad that his government wanted to strengthen bilateral relations with Chad as part of continuous cooperation between the two countries. I always like to see African countries doing diplomacy and engaging in collaborations within the continent, because the reason the world turns like it turns is partly because whites' colonization of the African continent from the north to the tip of the Cape they cause dissension and confusion, and which breeds exploitation throughout the continent. And so when blacks can get together, when people from the same country or from different countries on the same continent can come into agreements and collaborations, that's always encouraging, I think. Yeah, Libya,
that's right.
Chad, 2 northern African countries, one more northern, one a little less northern. Anyway, national news. So Shane Lee Brown is suing the police departments of Las Vegas and Henderson, Nevada, and several police after they jailed him for 6 days instead of a white man with a similar name who is taller, nearly twice as old, and a convicted felon. This is crazy. Deepa Shivaram of NPR is reporting that the lawsuit alleges that Shane Lee Brown, a black man, 23 years old, was driving home when he was pulled over by the police in Henderson, Nevada. He didn't have his license with him at the time, but he provided his name and his Social Security number and his Social Security card. And so they are saying, the police, y'all, who's supposed to have abilities and proficiency in the area of investigation, they said that they confused a 49, did you put the pictures up? A 49-year-old white man, they confused with a 23-year-old black man. That's what that's the mistake that the police made. So hell yeah, he ought to sue him to death.
Crap.
That's crazy, man. So he remained in custody for 6 days. So he asking for a half a meal. And that's, I mean, a half a meal for 6 days sounds fair. We'll take it. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Black news channel's Shakamri Gowdy is reporting that Sean Maurice Dean, 55, was sentenced to 12 to 31 years in prison in 2019 in a stabbing case, which has since been overturned by the Nevada Supreme Court on the grounds that his jury was influenced by harmful racial stereotypes. It's another one of them stories, man. You know how it goes. I ain't got to tell you. Somebody said, one of the so they said counsel insisted that the prospective jurors must have heard that all African Americans like watermelon or have an attribute of violence and that they are sneaky. Whether counsel himself believed any of the offensive stereotypes is immaterial because bringing such racial invective into the courtroom cannot be justified. At any rate, the ruling could not result in a new trial for Dean, who is currently housed in northern Nevada. But what they, I mean, when you get, when the jurors and the lawyers talking about all black people like watermelon, all black people sneaky, and all black people violent, that jury, I think, should be nullified. And at the very least, a new trial should be held. But who, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on the internet. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, the Atlanta Voices, Matthew Perrone and Associated Press, is reporting that COVID-19 antibody drugs from Regeneron and Eli Lilly should no longer be used because they don't work against the Omicron variant of the virus. So Eli Lilly and Regeneron, if y'all got shot up with that, well then, you can still get the COVID. So that is, and that's because the reality is all the rest of them you get shot up with, you can still get the COVID too. They just tell you that in the small print. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, just because we stop talking about COVID don't mean that it ceases to exist. But I mean, the information is so voluminous, so inconsistent, and so confusing, that I don't even feel like it's appropriate for me to report all of the stuff to you that's written about it. I just tell you to try to stay safe, stay away from people you don't know, keep on wearing your mask, and keep on taking care of yourself like you've been doing. If you ain't got it yet, you're doing good. So keep on keeping it. Okay? All right. Finally closer to home, all the way here in this state, in this city called the A. It's going to pop up. There you go. So In Atlanta, Doug Richards is reporting that gambling legislation stalled in the legislature for years may finally pass this year. Backers have been negotiating with reluctant lawmakers, and both sides say a deal may be forming. Lawmakers have spent much of the last week negotiating behind the scenes over gambling bills in an apparent effort to simplify the legislation to allow voters to decide yes or no to gambling. Okay, so what they talking about is legalized gambling, because we got gambling. you know what if what's the lotto here? That's gambling. You spending money to try to get money. That's gambling. You know what I mean? And when them people be in them stores, you know, they had them machines in there, and they let the people smoke and everything. They want to keep them in there. You know them corner stores you go in where the people be back and you can't see them, and they be looking at a machine. Don't nobody talk about that, do they? I don't never really even hear about none of them places getting busted. They all must just pay the police and pay the prosecutors, and everybody cool. Yeah. So now somebody else want in and want to cut, so they got to legalize it. Okay, that's cool. Man, this is crazy. This is a story out of Atlanta. Brittany Kleinpeter gets the byline for this story. Medical experts nationwide, including right here in Georgia, are warning adults and parents about an ingredient in COVID-19 testing kits that could be dangerous if misused. The warning comes as poison control centers across the country have been reporting a growing number of calls about a liquid that is used in the kits. Man.
What?
Yeah. One somebody. Now this just ignorant. This just, you got to throw that stuff away once you use it. That's what it is. Because this one father thought it was eye drops and put it in his baby eyes. The COVID-19 juice, man. I'm like, man, come on, man. He need his hind part whooped.
What the hell?
Anyway, when you finish with a COVID-19 test, man, you put that thing in a plastic bag and you put it in the garbage can. You throw it away. You know. Anyway, finally, deputies in Helena, Georgia, and I didn't know nothing about Helena, Georgia. Oh yeah, that's where Telfair State Prison is. Telfair County. Deputies arrested a man they say was attempting to distribute drugs and cell phones to a Georgia prison via drone. Yep. Deputies located Michael Austin of Greenwood, South Carolina, outside the prison. Deputies also found a drone nearby with a package that included marijuana, tobacco, cell phones, and fentanyl patches. They got fentanyl patches, huh?
Huh?
Yeah, I guess you just put the patch on and just feel good, huh? Interesting. Anyway, they busted him as he was trying to fly the dope in. They wanted him just to use the regular way, just give it to the deputies so they can take it in. Like they usually do. Anyway, man, so now you know what the deal is. Now you know what the deal is, man. When we come back, I got special guest in the building, and we're going to be chopping it up like we usually do on this thing called The Situation. My name is Slaughter, man. I'm the trap pastor, baby. The machine. Mr. Get Up and get it every day. Man, I was at work last night till 9:30, man. I don't even want to hear it. You know what I'm talking about? I works for a living around here, partner. So I need you to let your people know about the dopest show that they never heard of. It's called The Situation, and you can get at me on trappastor.com. Scroll to the bottom of that page. Yeah, trappastor.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page. There are platforms there that are waiting for you. Facebook Live, Twitch, Instagram Live, and YouTube. Most folks like to get us on YouTube. And when you go to YouTube, get us at The Situation, baby, with Dr.FKeith Slaughter. And then like it. Get the notifications. And by all means, subscribe. And get ready, February 4th. It is our open house at the Little Zion Annex of the Beloved Community Church, which is a day shelter and respite, as well as food pantry for members of our community. We want you to come and check out a building that was saved from white gentrification by the power of the Most High. I'm your brother. I'll be black when I get back, man. Don't y'all go nowhere. Oh, no, you say it.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial, shawty. We're
open. Yes, we're open.
We are open, and Sandtown Pub is ready to serve you. We're taking precautions, wearing masks, wearing gloves, sanitizing, and practicing social distancing. We've even partnered with local leaders to hand out free masks. So stop by and enjoy our outdoor patio, dine in, call ahead for pickup, get Uber Eats and DoorDash delivery, or order online at www.sandtownpub.com.
Peace, family. It's your girl, Shelly Set with Sun Goddess Sense, your one-stop natural shop. We are located at 4140 Jonesboro Road, booth 225, inside the Forest Park International Discount Mall in Forest Park, Georgia. Come check us out. You can get your health and beauty items, aromatherapy, skincare, Pan-African apparel, and more. You can reach us at 404-434-7963 or sungoddess_sense on IG, or sungoddess.sense on IG, or Sun Goddess Sense like page on Facebook. Peace.
Hi, I'm Broderick Gooch.
And I'm Tian Gooch.
And we're Gooch's Goodies.
Here at Gooch's Goodies, we specialize in delivering smiles and satisfaction to your home with our high-quality food at affordable prices.
Our signature sauces and dishes will guarantee a flavor that your family will love, and that's a Gooch's Goodies guarantee. You can follow us on Facebook,
DoorDash,
and Grubhub. See you soon.
impeach my mouth is like I'm on vacation. Won't even dream about my 9 to 5 or what my boss say. Raising my glass in the air, who cares if it's Tuesday? Let's be spontaneous. We never
What up, though? Welcome back to the show. My hair bothers me today. I don't like it sticking up like that. Welcome back, man. It's Slaughter. The Machine. It's Reparations Wednesday. On the situation, we generally have guests who are conversant in the area of reparations. Today is no different. I did want to say, man, y'all turned out that was John Black. I didn't get the chance to tell y'all who that was. That was John Black. But anyway, oh yeah, I know what I was gonna tell y'all. Man, y'all go see the people at Sun Goddess Sense. Thank you, brother. Y'all go see the people at Sun Goddess Sense. This morning, something strange happened to me this morning. This is a testimony. All right. So I'm finishing up my shower and I'm hitting the sugar scrub. And inadvertently, as I was putting some sugar scrub on, some went in my mouth. And I tasted it. I was like, this shit ain't bad. Man, all I'm saying is you can eat it, you can drink it, you can wash your face in it, man. It's like it's that good. It's like Sun Goddess Sense, man. Shout out to Shelly Set, Brother Ken Wado, beloved, man, who be doing things and who down with the situation. My next guest, well, my first guest of the day, and I think, my first guest of the day is a brother who operates out of Southwest Atlanta. He describes himself as an agriculturalist, an artist, and an activating activist. He's a community leader and an educator. And so on today, I wanted to go to him slow because he was taking his sweatshirt off and I didn't want the camera to go to him right when he tried to get out of his sweatshirt. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, please join me in welcoming our dear brother, Khalifa. Khalifa Sultan Lee. What up, though?
What's up?
I'm good, brother. How you making it?
I'm making it well, making it all right. It's been quite a time these past couple of years.
Yeah, it's been hell for some of us.
Oh yeah, and I'm happy to be here in your presence.
It's my honor, sir. It's my honor, brother. Glad that you agreed to come and to kick it with us, man, on this Reparations Wednesday. As always, we try to place emphasis on what we are owed each and every day, because there's a debt that this country owes to us as people. I thought I was sitting on something in that. That'll make you uncomfortable. But Khalifa, you born and raised in Atlanta?
Born and raised, man. This is actually around the corner from one of my very communities from which I grew up in and my family grew up in as well. Right.
What's that? What community is that?
Lakewood.
Lakewood, over there by Mount Pleasant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, South Atlanta, what they call it. Yeah.
Then Vine City as well.
Okay.
My granny was holding down for a good 20, 30 years in St. Luke Baptist Church, and then Adamsville. I was starkly placed in education over there in the deep west, southwest SWAT side of the city, from Peyton Forest to Dr. Benjamin Mays High School. I'm Atlanta, like you say.
Atlanta.
I grew here, I ain't flew here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's been a pleasure to not only be from here, but also stay here, come back, and all the things that I was able to take on throughout my life, bring it right back to the city.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, and I don't care. I say it in front of anybody at any time. This is the greatest city in the world. This is a world city, and this is for a black man to live in. Since you got to live somewhere, this is the best place in the world. If you can catch your grip in the A and hold on, man, it's just a great place to be. It's the vibe is right, particularly if you get a chance to kick it. You know me, I very rarely go east of 75, 85 or north of 20. I just generally don't do that.
You a real West Side. You're a real Atlanta. That's what we say. I thought it was just my generation that said that.
I'm talking about rarely, if ever.
Yeah, it's definitely rare.
Yeah. For instance, like say in the last couple of weeks, I've not been north of 20. I've not been east of 75. I can say that like for 2 solid weeks. I ain't got no business.
I mean, what's the need? We have everything we need.
We got
right
everything we need in the
SWAT.
SWAT.
Got the good food. Yeah. We got our good people. Yeah. And if you go in the church, plenty of churches.
No, people don't like church no more because people think that Omicron only at church. Yeah. It ain't at the Falcons game.
Yeah, nah, it
ain't at the club.
They ain't kicking soccer down there. They ain't going to Magic City.
It ain't it ain't at the restaurant, man.
Yeah,
it ain't nowhere but at church. Yeah. the way people act, the way people act. That's what it's like. Because you got churches just going out of business because churches live off of people's generosity.
Absolutely.
And when people don't share.
And that's even in what we're talking about today, the church has really been our stronghold historically, even organizing wise, when it comes to instilling ourselves not only with power but also information. Many of the schools that were established, HBCUs, started out of an actual little church.
Churches,
so to have a situation such as we'll say the demic, so now it's either going to be pan or it's going to be in a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like which way were we able to go when it comes to this, when it comes to continuing our power movements, when it comes to collectively coming together. And the church certainly was one of the first entities that was definitely pushed down. Like several places that I'm connected to, they definitely just wasn't meeting for church at all.
Right. And many still are not.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't stop. We stopped having service for maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. It was like, yeah, but I got these people, man, who be dependent on this little business that we do, the little salaries that we are able to disseminate among us. People be dependent on that, be counting on that in their budget. Absolutely. So it's like, man, we need to keep it rolling so we can continue to make that paper circulate among each other. Because a black church that's functioning like it ought to be functioning is turning over money in the community.
Absolutely.
That's how it ought to work.
Providing services.
Yeah, providing services
for the people.
Exactly.
Whether they believe as you believe or not.
You're right.
That's why I suppose we come as you are. It's funny, I made sure I came as I was. I wanted to be sure I represented a couple of my community members as well, coming here. But, I just left from my school where I teach and have my garden. And I said, he always tells us to come as we are. Whenever I would listen to your show when I was working over at True Living Well down in when it was out in Cabbage Town.
Okay.
And riding the car in the mornings, you always say, "Come as you are." When the people come in and say, "You know what? Let me take a quick stab at that and do exactly that." I was gonna come in my nice suit and gear, and I was like, "No, that is me, but it's not real." You know what I'm saying? Let me come as I am today.
That's how
we're going to be doing is work for the people as we're talking about reparations and trying to bring about repair to our community, bring about repair to the people, bring about repair to an entire society of people. How can we do that if we're not welcoming them as they are standing in the spaces, in the places, in the mindsets in which they are in? That way we can become one, come into one, and truly be one.
You said something, man. You said more. Right. I think you said more than what you know, and you kind of answered a question that I've been trying to kick in my mind because some of my guests I've had on, say or have perspectives that are beyond what the people who I get a chance to talk to are able to grasp. And I be trying to figure out how can I get this information to people who just don't think like that and who that kind of thought is just totally outside of what they have heretofore been able to comprehend, apprehend, or has even been shared with them at all. And so my challenge, and I think our challenge is as activists and as people who love Black people, is to figure out how to get new information, new ideas that might be old, but how do you get information that's going to be empowering to people if you present it as you being the repository of information and them being empty vessels that need to be filled up with whatever it is that you have. I mean, just how do you deal with the power, the power imbalances and the dynamics that exist in the attempt to get Black people to want to be free?
Man, I guess that for those that know me, I guess that is a perfect question for me. I've been very much doing a lot of this work for, how old am I? Almost 20 plus years. And when it comes to being someone who's been taught, some would say enlightened, some would say encultured, to be in the know of these things, but then coming into spaces where people just not only have no clue, they're not welcoming of it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest quotes of our lifetime was actually from the movie from our good sister that created The Matrix. Morpheus was quite clear in saying that there are those who will fight for their enslavement, for the ignorance that they hold. I'm changing a bit of words, but I'm making sure I say that to make sure you guys understand. So when you're speaking with those who lack knowledge and understanding, and then even that an interest, you have to come to them with the language, with the experience, and with the connectivity of the areas in which they're in. So for instance, like I stated, we from Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? We from the hood, we from these streets. Yes, many people don't know that, if we're really, really from Atlanta, a lot of folks are quite well aware. They're quite intelligent and very spiritually endowed. Yet and still, because of the spaces and things that we've gone into and the traumas that we've garnered, we kind of went certain ways. You know what I'm saying? You might have gotten a little bit more into drugs. You might have dropped out of school or early. So you have to tap into that spirit that's always been there. Us as African, as American, as indigenous folks of the planet, we've always had that astounding spirit where we're invested in our well-being, invested in others' well-being, as well as invested in our own ability to become greater.
No doubt.
And then using their language, because I'm college educated, but my college education didn't really bring about my lexicons. It was actually the culture that I was in growing up within my own family. So in that, I have to use the language that I know from my particular sector and group, whether it be from my family or my friends. So the way I talk to my parents is not the same way I'm going to talk to my homies. Not the same way I'm going to talk to the people who I'm on these boards with when I have to go all the way back to my university. Definitely not the same language I'm going to talk to with my parents, whose students who I teach. Like, these have to be understood in knowing who they are. So when we say come as you are, that's on purpose, because in order for us to understand how to communicate with you, we have to understand each other in terms of where we are. And that's really what made even what I was able to do at University of Virginia a lot easier, because I had all of those within me. I was able to come off from the west side and south side with several areas and communities of culture, information, and language. And then by chance, my mother would take a chance and take me all the way over to good old Samuel Inman Middle School. I've seen our other people before, but I've never been able to experience them in the way I was able to experience them there. And me leaving that space and going to the University of Virginia, from which you saw in my bio, where I was able to do this, taking on a direct invested work in getting a white institution to involve themselves in the movement of reparative work, as they would say. We call it reparations. It took us a little minute to even get them to say reparations. Yet that was necessary. because it's about language. It's about words and words of power, as we know from the many scriptures and the text of the day. The word in itself is life, and when you speak in life into something, you want to make sure it lives on forever. So we have to use particular words and language, not only where they are, but then ask them to try on other words and other languages, other ideas, because the language in itself is an idea. It's a spark and charge that gets them to drive into something they probably would never have wanted to go towards.
I was reading earlier from the Souls of White Folks. Rarely, we make comments on the behavior of whites, but as far as doing deep analysis of white behavior and pathology, it's something that black people have really not been encouraged to do. But it's something that I'd engage in, and I like to see people, point out just the gross inconsistencies and evident pathologies that are part of white behavior that are just overlooked every day because they in charge.
Absolutely.
One of the white folks that's in charge, or that think that they're in charge, the other day made a really interesting comment. It was in the news for a day, and now it's gone.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell said that black people vote at the same rate that Americans do. What he basically said is his understanding of blackness is not, or is exclusive of being American. And so he don't see black people as Americans. And I'm wondering, because that's cool with me. You don't have to see me as American. Cut the check.
Yeah, that's
really.
All
if I'm not
Martin Luther King Jr. we coming for that check. Man, that's literally what's happening right now.
Cut the check, homie. Because if I'm not I'm a damn kidnap victim. We've been kidnapped victims for years, for centuries. If that's the case, if we ain't even a part of the country, cool. We've been kidnapped. Pay us. Then we can go wherever we want to go, or give us a part of this, or do something.
But this is where that language part comes in at, because we're talking about. Because I saw that, and we have to understand that when you're in certain political positions, including myself, we have to use certain words to instill and make sure something is charged within us, and also in your memory. Because if we remember properly. For those that don't, when we look into particular dictionaries, American don't look like them. It look like us. That's in their books, their history, their colonized movement when we look up American. So whenever we look into their history, even though you're speaking particularly of the great historian and sociological worker of W.B. Du Bois, he knew for certain that when we look across the world, whenever they would come into certain lands, not only would they work their damnedest to take the land, they will also take their name. So to go about saying that they vote twice as much, or just as much rather, as Americans, that's to say, as you were feeling, that we aren't American. And what's happening currently today is why I found very interesting this movement against the so-called CRT, and I'll explain why I call it the so-called CRT in a second, is because we're in a time from which all things are coming in order for the betterment of our people. We have a strong movement of my generation, particularly, who are bringing back to life the work of those from the 60s and 70s and 80s, reviving the understanding that we are a great human, intelligent, spiritually high people who deserve respect. Not only that, we deserve our name and we deserve our inheritance, and our inheritance is this land. And in that and with that, how timely of it is it that as we are currently still, and bless the souls of of our elders and brothers who passed, fighting this good fight to get reparations on a bill up in the Senate and Congress.
Talking about Conyers.
Yes. Good Elder Conyers. They weren't the only ones working on this. We have a whole many organizations, particularly like in Cobra, who we're working with for the University of Virginia's President's Commission on Slavery and Diversity, and now it's the Commission on in the age of segregation, from which they get to push forward with these political leaders in Congress and the Senate to get the charge going. I was just looking at a post earlier about HB 88. I think that might be for Georgia, trying to get rid of CRT. Yet we were giving this language of CRT without looking up what it actually was. And when I took the time out, because I would jump into the law school every now and then when I was in school, because I want to see what they're talking about. We talking about law. I look in my books and I know that a lot of some good, powerful white folks in many different sectors of the United States of America graduated out of UVA's law school. I said, okay, what they got going on over here? CRT is not what we're being told it is. It's not about educating.
Well, it's coming out of critical legal studies.
Yeah, it's a legal study of, in a manner from which you are able to analyze information so that you can critically bring about not only a change, but also an understanding of language and what's going on and what's occurring at that time. So with that and in that, we're being told there's supposed to be cultural pluralistic education. That's what they're trying to pass. That's what they're trying to move, because it's also a part of the reparations work. In order for us to be able to gain reparations, we have to teach each other's history. You have to come into understanding of what happened, when it happened, and why it happened. There's no way that your grandchildren, if you were being an elder white man, would even think about, let alone agree to, doing that if they were not taught the truth. All we're asking for is the truth. And in the truth, that in itself is reparations work. And the closer and closer we get to this, the more and more I saw this upticking. Because in that and with that, me now being a chair of the University Studying Slavery Conference is coming up, I believe, next year. We brought about several colleges. It went from about 5 to now about 30 universities around the United States of America, let alone the world, discussing this work. We would say reparative work. We're also saying, what happened? Like, just really, what happened? What did we do to these people? What companies, what organizations, what institutions were a part of this work, and what can we do about it? So with that, I also got to be an eye of watching these other institutions bring about these educational courses, instilling information, moving educators to change curriculum, because that's also a part of the reparations work.
Yeah,
and that was,
and so you getting the pushback now.
Yes, it's catching up. It's
and
catching
what
up.
whites are doing is pushing back.
Exactly, it's a part of the pushback.
The truth.
It's a part of the pushback.
We can't stand the truth, because the truth, through this current interpretative lens, makes us look even more horrible than we really are.
Absolutely, it's hard to sell. It's hard to sell something when the sell looks bad. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to sell something when the product looks bad.
You know, it was something, man. I'm getting ready for a sermon for Sunday, right?
Yeah,
writing something fresh, and some came to me. And the sermon's entitled Trap Theology, all right? And I went to what immediately came to mind after some study and reflection was the whole Exodus narrative, Exodus novella of the children of Israel getting to the sea, the wilderness on either side of them, and the Egyptian army behind them in chariots. They're before the sea. They don't know what to do. They trapped, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And the text says they were confused and wondering in the trap. So as I was thinking about that, I thought about what came to mind was an example of our people being trapped. And when we come back on the other side of the break, I'm gonna tell you about that and how that. I'm gonna give you a story when you ask about what happened, when it happened, how did this happen. I want to share this with you when we come back on the other side.
Please
and we're gonna have some more conversation. Look here, let's take a break, man, and I'm gonna bite this sandwich, man, that come from downstairs, where the good sisters are preparing meals and sharing with the members of the community like we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday up through here. Also, if you know somebody who needs to get their ID, to try to get a Georgia State ID, try to get their birth certificate, a Social Security card, stuff like that, and they're in this community and they need help with that. Also on Wednesday, every Wednesday of the month, we have a gentleman on staff on site who actually does the work of helping people get those credentials, and we here at the church pay for it. Okay? I just signed some checks just a minute ago, right? Paying for identification for people in the community, because you need that. That's part of what we do. You feel me? We'll be black when we get back. The more this thing called a situation. I'm your brother, the machine. I'll never stop running. Get it.
If it makes sense, we have to go and do it, you know.
Yeah, what I man say. Right now, but each and every day I say, oh people now, yeah I say, freedom, Rasta people them freedom.
Cause we rock, you can't hold me. You can't tell my story. And we drip, it's all over me. We got to walk the room magically. Cause we rock, you can't hold me. You can't tell my story. And we drip, it's all over me. Yeah, I got to work the room magically.
We're open. Yes, we're open.
We are open, and Sandtown Pub is ready to serve you. We're taking precautions, wearing masks, wearing gloves, sanitizing, and practicing social distancing. We've even partnered with local leaders to hand out free masks. So stop by and enjoy our outdoor patio, dine in, call ahead for pickup, get Uber Eats and DoorDash delivery, or order online at www.sandtownpub.com.
Peace, family. It's your girl, Shelly Set with Sun Goddess Sense, your one-stop natural shop. We are located at 4140 Jonesboro Road, booth 225, inside the Forest Park International Discount Mall in Forest Park, Georgia. Come check us out. You can get your health and beauty items, aromatherapy, skincare, Pan-African apparel, and more. You can reach us at 404-434-7963 or sungoddess_sense on IG or sungoddess.sense on IG or sungoddesssense like page on Facebook. Peace.
Hi, I'm Broderick Gooch.
And I'm Tian Gooch.
And we're Gooch's Goodies.
Here at Gooch's Goodies, we specialize in delivering smiles and satisfaction to your home with our high-quality food at affordable prices.
Our signature sauces and dishes will guarantee a flavor that your family will love, and that's a Gooch's Goodies guarantee. You can follow us on Facebook,
DoorDash,
and Grubhub. See you soon.
You see the pure me, I see the pure you. We met and no one expected to get this tight. I recall the very moment that I knew that this was right on time. Damn, you fine. Look in my eyes and my vibes recline. Got seeds, here's a picture of mine. Chemistry right, you read my mind. Some truth inside you help me find. This spiritual, mental, mutual attraction cultivates electric magnetic reaction. Giving and receiving chakra satisfaction. Giving thanks and praying this one's a lasting. Isn't it so cold that you can't stop my love? So zoom back, you can't stop my love. S. Nicole, I know what I know. God complex. Yeah. Come on, yeah. The devil is conscious, speaking in songs with the action conscious. The ancestor gods is watching, plotting on your own, but pivoting the knowledge. The ways of the world got you scared to be honest. Karma and the ether's always keeping this promise. Agents still like, get your hands out my pocket. Politicized by the fake prophet for profit. But we forget we got the
like right now.
to stop this propaganda.
I'm listening to a dude named Cootie, right out of my hometown, Blytheville, Arkansas. It's straight just trap music, you know what I'm saying? And I'm excited about getting in my car and turning it on and listening to the sounds, because I want to hear what black people, what black men are thinking now. Even if it's not, even if I don't agree with it, I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you feeling and where you're coming from. And I want to give honor and respect to that, because that's the other thing. Everybody is worthy of respect.
Absolutely.
It's offense, people taking offense, and people withholding respect from each other. That's the two main things that are undermining our community and our ability to love each other and to unify like we need to.
Absolutely.
We get offended too fucking easy.
Absolutely.
With people who love us.
Absolutely.
We get people in families don't be talking to each other because they got offended about some bullshit. You know, and we doing that in our community, and at the other time, and at the same time, we don't give each other respect. So hell, you can expect people to feel offended if you don't respect them, because everybody deserves respect. You know.
I just want to throw up.
What's that?
Afroletics, my bro Jeffrey over in the new Black Wall Street over in Lithonia.
Oh yeah, they supposed
that Ma'at. I wanted to be sure I could show y'all the Ma'at, because that's what he's talking about. When we're in balance and we are aligned.
There it is on that sleeve right there.
We're willing to, and interested and invested in each other. And we're honoring each other moralistically. Because it all
Ma'at is
to that Sankofa from my Baba Kenazaki.
Oh yeah.
I had to, because we.
How is Zaki, man? You checked on him lately?
I haven't. I've been meaning to call him as we turned into the year, but last time I saw him, he was looking young and thriving well.
Yeah, my understanding is that he had like a major surgery. And
recently?
We need to be.
Call him.
Yeah, we need to be in prayer for
pull
him.
up on him.
Yeah, and you check on him, and tell him Slaughter ask about him.
I definitely will.
Yeah, me and that brother worked together for some years. We worked together with a brother by the name of MZ Tate. Brother MZ Tate was one of the most brilliant minds I ever encountered. He came out of Ohio and he created and oversaw a program. It still exists downtown Atlanta that receives black men who have recently been released from being incarcerated.
Oh, beautiful.
And Kenneth Zaki was the assistant director along with MZ Tate, and it was a total Afrocentric reentry program. But you received your name, and it was, I hate to say brainwashing, but it was like acculturating people, brothers, to who we really are as African men.
Absolutely.
Right? And but Zaki was the assistant director, MZ Tate was the director, and I was a pastoral psychotherapist. I was doing my doctoral work at the time, and that's where I practiced, and I led like large groups with as many as 30 to 50 men. You know what I mean? And we would chop it up for a couple of hours, a couple of days a week, just to help to put our feelings out so they can be valued by each other. And
I've been talking about this a lot lately.
What's that?
About this very same thing. I'm happy to hear that because that's necessary for us as a people, particularly for us as black men.
Yeah, man.
A lot of us black men, we've been feeling left out, man.
We separate, and I need to do it again, man. I need to talk to my sponsor at Sandtown Pub and start pulling together these men's gatherings that we had. We had one a few months ago. It's just everything is out of whack. All of the great, man, like my book that I had just published came out like a month before COVID-19. So my whole book tour, my whole, the whole thing that I was trying, everything that I had, all of the power that had been built up, all of the momentum that had been built up, it was just let the air out of it all. Man, I was looking at a video this morning we was having church a couple of years ago. Man, Craig, it was full up in here, man. It was pumped. It was going down. I had forgotten how hyped it was pre-pandemic, And again, churches around us, many of them have just folded because we ain't got nobody no more. But we holding on. Let's get back. I was going to tell you the story. Okay, when we went on the other side of the break, I was going to tell you about this trap situation. Mm-hmm. You ever heard of Ebenezer Creek, brother?
Definitely sounds familiar.
Okay, this is the story about people being trapped, all right? Ebenezer Creek. Sherman, 1864, Sherman comes through, March to the Sea.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, and so one part that's often left out is that as a part of the Union Army, they used the recently freed men, African men, to move obstacles, dig up, move rocks and trees and stuff, and basically as engineers, so the army could come through, right? Mm-hmm. And behind those strong, industrious young men were their families, they wives, they women, they children, they old folks. The army is in between them, right? So you got the engineers, the brothers, you got the Union Army, and following behind them is a few hundred black people who recently freed, who are basically refugees, don't know what's going on, and just running. And behind them is the Confederate Army. So they get to Ebenezer Creek, headed towards Savannah after coming through Atlanta, heading south and east. They get to Ebenezer Creek. It's frozen and icy, So the engineers build a bridge for the army and their supplies to pass over, and then pull up the bridge. And so the black people coming, and here come the Confederate soldiers behind them. They panic, go into a frenzy. Many people drowned, many people killed, many people re-enslaved, right? Because the good guys, the good white folks, the Union Army pulled up the bridge and sacrificed black people. See, those are the stories that they don't want told.
Exactly.
Those are the narratives that they want to keep hidden.
Exactly.
Right? And they'll put the CRT moniker on that, but has nothing to do with critical race theory. That's just American history. You know what I'm saying?
His story and our story.
Yeah.
His story and our story.
You know what I'm saying?
And that was why, I was blessed by my Baba, my elder, Dr. Milton Rick Turner as a class. I was already activist on grounds, but I was in the engineering school doing work, and I was brought into his sociology and African American studies class and course to take on this project. It was a class course. As a class project, we were asked to do the studies, to bring about the research, do a grand presentation, invite the president of the school board, professors and doctors, everybody, grad school, to this presentation to get an understanding about why the university should apologize for the role in slavery and also build an actual memorial.
And University of Virginia, I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. For those that don't know,
it was built by
this
Africans.
is Thomas Jefferson's, literally Thomas Jefferson's university. This
Right.
is what they call it. This is what they say. And because it is, his plantation not only is a school, but also, which is also still nicknamed the plantation. The actual plantation, Monticello, is right up the hill, if not standing on a hill, straight across from the school. You can look at from the hill where UVA sits, straight over to Monticello. So the day, I'm kind of segmenting from my story to tell this real quick. The day before the grand day where they tiki torch, the Tiki Torch Day.
Yeah.
The Tiki Torch Day was at UVA. It wasn't, which is also in Charlottesville. So the work that we're doing, I told my boards that, years ahead, I said, hey, you might want to get ready. Because this right here is real work. And me being an activist as a youth in college, we kind of saw the pamphlets of the KKK being passed around in the thousands. So this is in the tens. Like, I'm sure they know about what's going on. They trying to get rid of that Robert E. Lee statue, and we sure Thomas Jefferson's coming next. Because y'all know, like we know, like you all try to tell us as black students that these coffers up under these original rooming for the first students of UVA were just storage units. This is the top room, and there's this little storage unit up under it.
Those slave cabins.
Those are slave cabins.
Yeah.
We said that for decades. They told us no, it wasn't.
Right.
We did research of our own. They finally would come out and finally admit to it with this very work. So as a project, we said, hey, we have universities like the University of Alabama. Alabama beat us in saying, hey, we did a wrong. We're going to make it right and actually build a memorial for it. And we was like, Alabama?
I just need
like,
the
come
money,
on,
man. I
Like,
don't need no memorial.
come on, Alabama.
I need the money.
And shout out to Alabama because they will also become a part of our board. Because that was 13 years of work. Because they finally apologized, and then we as students and faculty members and staff members would have to, and community members. I'm not leaving out Charlottesville because Charlottesville has a very strong community when it comes to bringing about justice for their community because they're the ones that are still working there. Their ancestors were the ones that were also enslaved at the university. So they would also join us in this work to bring about the reparations needed for their community. So they were working in tandem with us, but the university itself was not supporting it until we were actually, you know how we do. We do all the good leg work and get everything nice and buckling, and then they see that dollar. They see that dollar and say, oh, somebody wants to support this, huh? Oh, okay. And then, finally, about 13 years later, now we have a huge, beautiful memorial for our ancestors, the enslaved memorial. The Memorial for Enslaved Laborers is what it's called, based upon a design for me and my peers that we did as students amongst 3 other winners because we had a contest from my successors who carried up the work. They brought up about a good contest raising money to get one designed and built. And eventually the president of that time, President Sullivan, would bring about a commission working with my great elder now, who's now gone, no longer there, Dean Martin, will bring us all together from the different communities working on this work to push forth the efforts to continuing it on a grander scale with the president of the university. Now I'm president number 2 doing this work, and we transitioned 2 boards, continuing this efforts to getting the justice that we need for not only us as students, us as faculty members, us as grad students, but us as a people for Charlottesville and for Virginia collectively and the world, because let's be honest, we're a traveling people. We move, like you stated, they traveled those lands, moving those obstructions for these wars, several wars, from which universities like mine have all been a part of and have made money for, or money off of. These universities are institutions of business.
Right.
And this is one of many that have been around since the 17 and 1800s that have profited off of the institution of slavery, and particularly chattel slavery, moving of bodies. because we also moved land. Who was on this land? Who was on this land when these institutions were laid out? Even some of our HBCUs themselves were on land started by, we'll say openly, started by white men to move the minds of the indigenous and the enslaved to becoming normalized. That's why if you all look up the histories of HBCUs, they were called normal schools. That can also be a part of the possible reparations work, only because we need to understand what happened to the land. What happened to the people that was all around there for these schools and institutions, these businesses to be established, these banks, these car companies to be established when it comes to the work that we did to build an entire country, an entire corporation that would be called the United States of America.
Okay, so the meeting, the next plenary or the next convention for the organization is, you say, coming up in the fall?
Yes, it should be coming up. It's coming up in the fall. We're currently locking down the dates right now. We're in a strong planning session. Me and my co-chair are doing some great work, making sure that we're covering the time frame of a good 100 span between 1850s and 1950s, because we're talking about the age of segregation. We went from the age of enslavery to the age of after enslavement, even though for us that know
the Jim Crow era.
Yeah, for those that know the law and the Constitution, we know that technically via the 13th Amendment, via our great sister, I'm pretty sure that was Ava DuVernay, right, that did the 13th Amendment documentary. 13th Amendment, we still have a mode of slavery. It ain't exactly the same, yet it's still here. We're still suffering from the very
slavery
same
is
things.
abolished itself for those who are incarcerated.
Yes. We have our incarcerated brothers and sisters, and those also shackled by, if it's not on your arms and wrists, you still shackled by a phone. You got to check in. Some of my brothers and sisters still, who I have close to me, who are still in that slavery system. We're still suffering from what has happened and occurred. It's still here. Things are still around us that need to be abolished and removed, not just the taking down of statues. We need to take down systems that teach us or don't teach us. Take down systems that do not feed us. Happen to be a agriculturalist and grower, because we need to get our food systems together, as we're seeing, because how can we fight a virus if we don't have the foods, like we were talking earlier offline? We have to get our foods together. Many of the foods changed. Many of our cultures in terms of how we relate to food as indigenous African American people has changed because of the system of slavery. And now we have all these health problems. Like, it has to be a coincidence, right? Like, we have to deal with that.
Oh, yeah.
We have to deal with that.
As you were talking, I saw this thing, a meme the other day.
What's that?
And it was like the dude that died, the queen's husband or whatever. And he was like looking like he had been dead for like, I don't know, 10 years maybe. But he was still alive, right? And I was just thinking, even though these white folks get this adrenochrome and these other types of substances to prolong their lives, even though you walking around and conscious, that still don't mean you alive. Sometimes you can just be walking around a dead man.
Absolutely.
I'd much
real
rather
life,
have
literally.
life and life eternal than to have fake life and be dead.
And I say to that.
Look, man, we gonna have to have you back, Brother Khalifa, because I know it's a whole
plenty. As an artist, as a grower, as a herbalist, I brought a gift for you as my mother's soaps, yours by design.
And I can't wait to do this. I was talking because I had to give me some. I told you about my son got his sense stuff, man. It's the one thing that bathing is a beautiful thing. I enjoy that time of the day. You know what I mean?
It's a peace time. It's a time of meditation.
Yeah. And so I appreciate this soap, man, because I go through it because I enjoy just soaking.
Yeah,
and,
all natural, all natural organic soaps. This was based on my own health conditions via as a child. I'm a lot better, obviously, now, as you can kind of see. My mother would make these soaps, and she would sell them right here in the West End. I was all the way in Ghana. Yeah, she would sell them out of the Shrine of Black Madonna and other stores here in Atlanta. And it's been a while since she put them in the stores. And I was all the way in Ghana a couple of months ago with Habashaw, helping Africa by establishing schools at home and abroad at our facility. And there's a woman there who knew my mother's soaps from almost 20 years ago. I said, Mama, did you know that someone in Ghana, Accra, is talking about your soaps? You got to get you back up and going.
You back in the game.
Yours_by_design. Please come get some of these soaps. Come get this back up and going, because she was swearing up and down by how great they were, and I will too. So I wanted to make sure I gifted you, because you gifted me so much from your work as a radio personality and as a elder in our community. And I was like, what better way can I do by giving something from my family to you and yours?
Thank you, brother. I received this gift. I appreciate it. I might even let my wife get a bar.
Yeah, please do. Don't leave the missus out. Don't leave. We made sure there was one for her.
I don't know if she appreciate it. I don't know. You know, my wife, she black, she African, you know, but I don't know if she African like me, you know. You got to be like super African to feel the soap situation. Because, you know, it's like people in Ghana, man, bathe like 2-3 times a day. You know what I mean? And I love the culture, and I know why I like to be in the shower like I do. Because I'm African, and I like to smell.
Yeah, we're water people.
Fruity.
Water people. And for those of us who are straight from America, even Atlanta's surrounded by water. Water everywhere. Water's all under pipes, and they're currently working on unpiping many of them. Even the South River movement right now, where the entrenchment is, they're trying to save that with the what they're nicknaming as a cop city. Like, we've always had water by us, so we're always loving to be in the water, keep ourselves clean and keeping ourselves smelling fresh. From America to Africa, it's a melanated thing. We got to stay clean and stay smelling fresh, man.
That is, and it's got to where you stay healthy as well.
Absolutely,
you know
getting the toxins out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Fighting this Omicron. All right, man, it's time to get up out of here. Today is Reparations Wednesday. Thanks to our dear brother Khalifa Sultan Lee.
Appreciate you so much, Doc.
Give him some love. Give him some more love. There you go. All right, Miggly, let's get up out of here, man. Yeah. It's been a good show, man. We made it through doing that thing that we do. I got to get down here, man, check on these young black men. I put out a video before we started out this morning on Facebook Live telling y'all to pay attention to what we're doing at this little Zion Annex. More than just preparing a place for people in our community to get some respite and receive some of the care that they need. But not only that, every hand that is working on that building is the hand of a young black man, 25 years of age or younger. And the general contractor is a young black man, age 25. Okay? I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm up to.
I would love to support that.
Yeah, so I need y'all to support it too. That's $, the Beloved Community. $THEBELOVEDCOMMUNITY. Shoot us some love, because I got to pay these Negroes. Peace to the people. Let's see. Peace to the Archbishop and the Holy Families of the Beloved Community I love so well. To my video engineer, Craig Miggity. To my crack research team, HC in the place to be. To my producer, C to the O to the Courtney Omega. Stop playing. And to the man in the box, the Grand Imperial Slice Master Supreme. On hand claps, applause, and other sound effects, ladies and gentlemen. None other than Big Not Lil. And you, all I want you to do is love me, and I'm going to love you black. I'm your brother. I'll holler at you tomorrow, man. Peace to the people, power to the people, and roof to the bros. I'll holler.
All right. The mouth of the wise teacheth knowledge, but the lips of the fool talketh foolishness. Almighty, me not like them hypocrites, me not like them parasites. Them scheme by day, them plot by night, striving on the plight of the poor and the sufferers. Jah know them a backstabbers. Jah know them a bloodsuckers. I can't take them vampires, 'cause I'm a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I'm on fighting for what is right. No, nah, give up the fighting for truth and rights. Up full in a Jaja side. Fight, we have to fight, we have to fight. Fight, we have to fight with all we might. Fight, we have to fight, we have to fight. Fight, we keep out all them parasites. 'Cause I'm a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. Them deceptive beasts, always scheming and deceiving, wheeling, dealing and misleading, stealing and concealing, playing with the people's feeling. Do they know the most I watching them? Them better know I'm man watching them. 'Cause I'm a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. 'Cause I'm a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. Run the track. Blood of my people, the blood. They have been shedding the blood of my people for a long time, a very long time, such a long time. I see the blood of my people is the lifeline, the substance of the beast. They have been shedding the blood of my people. They are sucking the blood of my people. Oh, it's the nature of the beast. Nature of the beast. Shedding the blood of my people. Sucking the blood of my people. Shedding the blood of my people. Sucking the blood of my people. The blood. Blood of my people, the blood. The blood. Blood of of weapons, then using them to kill my people. Some are famous, dangerous, and deadly weapons. RCBW, chemical and biological weapons, like hate and Ebola, weapons of genocide against my people. They're instigating strife and war among my people, setting up the climate for the blood to run. The blood have to run for the base to feast. Oh, it's the nature of the beast, nature of the beast. Shedding the blood of my people, oh, yo. Sucking the blood of my people, oh, yo. Shedding the blood of my people, sucking the blood of my people. The blood, blood of my people, the blood. I cry, the blood, blood of my people, the blood. Blood, blood of my people, the blood. They are shedding the blood of my people. No more. They are sucking the blood of my people. No more. They are shedding the blood of my people. They are sucking the blood of my people. No more shedding the blood of my people. No more. No more sucking the blood of my people. No more shedding the blood of my people. No more sucking the blood of my people. No more, no more. Our blood will shed no more, no more.
If it makes sense, we have to go and do it, you know.
Yeah, hear what I man say. Right now, but each and every day I say, oh people now, here I say, freedom, 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 Rasta people them freedom, African people freedom, the original people, they can't find your body, don't let them control your mind. So free up your mind, oh people now, who have been trapped by the demons of the beast. They are trying to destroy your mind and spirit, your heart and soul, your divine control, before they violate your body and destroy your world. They are waging all kind of warfare to distract and confuse your mind. Break them shackles, break them chains, don't let them control your brain. Break them shackles, break them chains, even though them change your name. Wake up, wake up, wake up, free your mind. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, free your mind. If they control your mind, they can control your thoughts. If they control your thoughts, they can control your actions. Prompting you to take their baits that will lead you to self-destruction. Put yourself defeating self-destructive actions, doing exactly what they want. As you fall in their trap, say, up your manipulation, them unleash, them demons and them beasts, to rape, ravage and feast. So wake up, oh people, to reality, reality. the propaganda. Desensitizing your minds for more lies and falsification. To the medias and their institutions, we make up rules and more distractions, confusing and mixing up your mind. Do you know what are their plans? I say it's mind control. Them evil Babylonians, they wanna steal your soul. So wake up, oh people, to reality. Wake up and